David, how did you get started in meteorology?
It just sort of picks you. I never really felt like I made a conscious decision to be into it, or what should I study, maybe this, maybe that.
Yeah.
I've just always been into the weather as long as I can remember, since I was probably 6 or 7 years old. I lived in Albuquerque at that time. Albuquerque gets all kinds of weather. It's a desert, but there are great thunderstorms, there are dust storms, there's snow, there's wind. So I just got kind of curious about how it all worked and why it all happened. My parents were nice enough to foster my interests, and they got me, I've forgotten to cook here.
I'll fold up for
You get me talking, we're not going to eat.
I love it. People want to know more about you.
You know, they supported my interests, and they
Yeah.
bought me a home weather station, this nice digital one for the house. And I was able to track the weather, so I became a climate spotter for the National Weather Service. Whenever there was hail, or if it rained 1/3 of an inch, I'd call in my report and say there was golf ball sized hail today at 2 miles south of Academy and Tramway in northeast Albuquerque. And I had a spotter number, so they actually knew where I was. I went through official training for it. And again, this was before the internet is what it is today. I would fill out these monthly logs of the high and low temperature, the rainfall, and any notes about the weather, if there was anything significant that happened. And when I would go out of town or go to a friend's house, I would make my parents do it. And I was really OCD and very anal about it. Like, you have to check at this time, you gotta clear it, don't mess it up, because then our records will be ruined. And at the end of every month, I mailed in my climate reports to the Weather Service, and supposedly they kept them. They probably just said, "This is the 10-year-old. We can ditch this."
Was that about 5th grade?
Let's see. That must have been 4th and 5th grade.
4th and 5th grade.
That's right.
You got into this.
Yep.
Big time. Then how did you choose to study it in college, and where did you go? And
so I went to Westlake for high school, and then when it was time to go to college, I applied several places, but meteorology isn't taught at a lot of places. A&M and OU are the ones closer. I kind of wanted to go somewhere else, and so I applied to the University of Miami. And I went there to visit, and I thought, this is great. There are palm trees, and it's warm all year round, and the beach is right there.
And they have a lot of crazy weather.
They do. They have hurricanes, which I knew I was interested
Yeah.
in. So that's where I ended up going to school, and one thing led to another. I got my full education at Miami, and even better, got to come back home to work for Jim Spencer at KXAN, who I interned for when I was 19, when I was home for a summer after my freshman year.
How did you set that up? Did you just
The
walk into
internship?
KXAN?
It's
and
one of those
talk to
small world
Mr.
things.
Spencer?
I went to, I had a field trip in Miami with my undergraduate 101 meteorology class, and we went to CBS Miami, and we met a guy named David Bernard, who I'm still in touch with today, and now he's in New Orleans. But when I met him, he said, "Oh, you live in Austin. I know a guy over there, Jim. If you want a summer internship or something, let me know, and I'll put you in touch." So he did. Jim was nice enough to have me for the summer, and then Jim was even nicer to put my name in the hat after grad school 6 years later when a job opening came up.
What was your thesis when you got your master's at the University of Miami?
That's correct.
Right?
It was, do you want to know the technical name?
Yes.
And I'll translate it. It was, now I have to remember the technical name. Evaluating the importance of mid-tropospheric humidity in tropical cyclogenesis.
Okay, English.
Which means, how important is moisture at 10,000 feet high to form or intensify a hurricane?
Oh my goodness. So basically, hurricane formation?
Right, and
Was your
intensification.
thesis?
So I studied all this satellite data and had some people smarter than I help me analyze it with all this computer code and stuff, and basically found that it was interesting, because it hadn't been confirmed before, that you need a lot of moisture at about 10,000 feet above your head in a developing storm if you want a really powerful hurricane. We found a really strong correlation. So this is something that more and more people are looking at now these days.
Yes. Did you go to Hawaii for a hurricane and then they brought you back?
I did. So I was in Harvey in 2017
Yes.
for the station, and then a week and a half later, Irma hit Miami, and I thought, it looked for a minute like a Category 5 was going to hit downtown Miami.
Right.
And I thought, I can't miss this.
Right.
So the station didn't want to send me, and I said, I'm going to take a vacation day, and I went to stay with some friends who still lived in Miami. So I went through that one, and then the following summer, which was 2018, they sent me to Hawaii to cover what was just a tropical storm, 45-mile-an-hour winds instead of 75 plus. But it was the only tropical storm that's ever hit Maui. So I got to be there and work with our sister station, KXAN in Honolulu,
That's amazing.
and be there for that. So that was a whole new experience, and it was very cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
When I see you and other meteorologists stand in hurricane force winds,
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, what are they doing?
You know what's crazy?
How
I would
do
do
you
that
even-
every day of my life if I could.
That,
Just that.
just hurricanes.
Yeah, just that.
How do you even stand up?
Well, I found the threshold in Irma. It was in Miami because I was in this exposed place with the wind coming off of the ocean because you don't want to stand downwind of debris, right? So the wind was coming off of the ocean where I know nothing's going to blow into me and hurt me. And I had a wind meter, a handheld wind meter, and I measured 60, 65, and then when it hit 74 exactly, which is hurricane force cutoff, it knocked me over. So 74 mile an hour winds, maybe that's why they made it, that's a hurricane, because that's what I found was really hard to stand up in. So think about 130 mile an hour Hurricane Harvey, which is not twice as powerful as that, it's exponentially more powerful because of the way wind works. So
Yeah.
those are powerful storms.
You love hurricanes.
Yeah, I really do. I don't know why. But all weather people are sort of the same way. We run towards everything and nobody else wants to be there when it hits.
That is so fascinating.